as we reflect on our time together this last couple of days, we have the extraordinary opportunity of hearing from our young people, our up and coming, I don't even like to say up and coming because they're already here, right? They are here and engaged in the work. So let's just say our youngest leaders who are engaged in this work and to share with us some of their insights. I know one of the conversations we were having in our room was about the future and what it means and the people, you know, that we want to have engaged in that, just like we want to engage the communities that are affected by the work that we're doing firsthand. And when we think about the future of this work, no one better than to hear from our young leaders about what their vision is and where they think we're headed. So I am so delighted to say hello to Tony Frank, who is the chancellor of the Colorado State University system and an extraordinary champion for the work that we're doing for the Salazar Center. He has, my former mayor used to like to use the word standing in the gap, and he has stood in the gap for the Salazar Center and for so many of us for many years. And he has a special place in his heart for the young people. That's why he's at the university, making sure that we're preparing the next few generations ahead. So with no further ado, Chancellor Frank, we'll turn it over to you.
And these are the young people you're going to hear from, just to be clear. This it's been a very long time since anyone accused me of being young or up and coming. I just want to say thanks for being here. I was really pleased to see so many folks here. I flew in this morning from chairing a meeting of the North American Agricultural Advisory Network in Mexico City, and I was impressed by the overlap of the themes, but also impressed by how many of you were here. And as I was thinking about that, I thought, think how busy and crowded and packed this space is going to be later this month when the University of British Columbia is going through its graduation ceremonies. And graduation ceremonies at universities, to me, are really an important part of the cycle of human progress. It's a symbolic moment, right? It's when, for most of our universities for the past century and a half, far longer, if you go back to other universities, we've welcomed the next generation. You know, we dress in our robes and we congratulate you on all the great work that you've done and the hard work that you've accomplished. And what we really mean by that when we're standing there is that we're terrified. Because we're smart and we tried really hard and we didn't make nearly the progress that we wanted to make, and we need your help. We need your passion, your energy, your ideas. When we sat at the stage in life where you all sit now, we were marching against war. We were marching for civil rights. We declared war on cancer. Infectious diseases were thought to be a thing of the past. There was a war on poverty. We were big on wars. We don't seem to count the ones we didn't do so well at. And in all of that, if you stand here today, we've left a lot of that work undone, and we've brought new problems alongside. And so we turn to you, and we say we need your help. And that's the perspective that we want to have as we close this out, because one of the things I have just loved about a career at a university is the fearlessness of the next generation. Those of us nearing the end of our careers sort of secretly believe some things maybe can't be done because we tried and didn't get them done. They don't know. And so you'll try. And so you'll accomplish things that we didn't get done. And in doing so, just like every generation, you'll help become a part of that cycle of human progress. And so that's the hope and the optimism that we want to sort of mine out of you at this session. We've got two great panelists here. Valeria Cañedo is a conservation biologist from the University of Sonoma. She's received numerous awards, including from the Salazar Center, Environmental Edition's 30 Under 30 Sonoran Youth Award. Cyrielle Noël is the director of, I knew I was going to mispronounce it, daCité, which is an organization, she's a spatial planner with a focus in marine systems that has decided to put waterways at the center of all of her design and development opportunities. She holds a couple of master's degrees. With that, I'll turn it over to you two to make some opening remarks, and then I'll foster a couple of questions, and we'll see if you all have some questions for these folks. Who wants to start?
Is this on? Oh, yeah, it is. First of all, I want to say we're really so grateful to the Salazar Center and everyone here for having us here. The Youth Congress for us is really important. We're about 70 delegates from all over the Americas. So it is amazing, like, this group can connect, can share all the different issues we have in all the regions that represent America, and also we can find solutions together. So I want to start with a question to you all. So think back about when you were in your 20s. If you had the opportunity to talk to yourself at your 20s, what would you say to yourself? Are you happy with what you have achieved now? Do you think you could do something else? Or what do you think? Just for 1 minute. I would say, I will give you my example here. I've been doing conservation since I'm 19. So what I would say to the Valeria when it was 19, when she was full of butterflies, looking for everywhere, just looking for a little piece of water to find a precious plant with butterflies in it, I could say to her, we're doing it. And we're doing it as we thought we could do one day. So it's just for us, I remember the first time I got a grant. It was a $1,200 grant for a Mono Butterfly project. And I cried for a week because I was someone actually believes in me. It's not just something that I was imagining can be possible. Someone else now is trusting the youth on doing research, on being in the field, on being with the community. So just want to have this reflection to you all. You can take it to your house. You can share it with some other people here. And yeah, I would say that.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you so much to the Salazar organization for having us. It's a real honor. And to be representing the Youth Congress of the Sustainable Americas really means a lot to us. My name is Cyrielle Noël, and my organization is called daCité. And we work on kind of resolving this urban paradox that I discovered, that water is the source of urbanization. Most cities are coastal, as you probably know. But in my case, in the city of Montreal, even though it's the second most populous river island, I noticed that there was a disconnection between the population and their waterways. So that's why I started my organization. I was telling Tony here that it started as a one-day waterway festival in celebration of World Oceans Day. So the things that I'm thinking about right now is I have 3 projects. I have a swimming lesson curriculum that integrates environmental education into the curriculum. So instead of just teaching kids to swim, we also teach them about their local environment and with that environmental hazards that come along with that. I'm also working on a project called the Cigarette Charrette, which looks at the issue of cigarette butt pollution, which is single-use plastic waste. A lot of people don't know that they're smoking plastic. But yeah, so thinking about that and what design interventions function and what design interventions do not function. And with that also looking at what I would say, quote unquote, the less negative aspects, like the nature connection opportunities for people that have this less desirable habit, what are the more positive aspects of that habit that we can capitalize on. And then the last one is called Tracing the Case for Blue Public Space. So I'm interested in promoting the concept of blue public space in urban planning and design to kind of bridge that gap that I originally started with. So I'm really inspired to share that we need to think like in terms of a vision about conceptual innovation. So we have a lot of technical like frameworks and tools and things like that, but I think that before all that, we need to really, if we're not able to dismantle the systems, we need to really change the way that we think. So that's what Tracing the Case for Blue Public Space is trying to do. And then I'm also interested in perceiving patterns, like when the pendulum is ready to swing in the opposite direction. I think now we're really interested in nature-based solutions, but before that it was biomimicry. So we are kind of getting closer, but when human hubris takes over and we want to go back to engineered solutions, let's say, how are we able to kind of, when the pendulum swings again, really capitalize on those advancements that we've made? And then lastly, as a marine spatial planner, I'm really passionate about promoting spatial planning instead of like fragmented ways of planning, like urban planning, regional planning, community planning. If we kind of look at spaces integrated, I think that we will have better outcomes than applying it in the marine and offshore spaces. So thank you.
Thank you both. You asked us to start out by thinking back to when we were 20. I'm going to flip that around. I want you to, and either of you can go first, to move forward in time. You're sitting in our shoes now. It's 30, 40 years from where you're at. Talk to us about your vision for what conservation and the world in the conservation context will be like. What do you see?
I can go. Yeah. I was thinking about this question, and I really think the values of the Youth Congress, I would love that to be just amplified, like this concept of transcontinental collaboration that we see here also in this symposium. I really would love that to be like a shining star. I think that in the European example, because they have the EU, it's a little bit easier to kind of have that framework to cooperate and work together. But I would love to see transcontinental collaboration overlaid also with intergenerational relationship building and healing as well. So if we're able to kind of patch those two ways of working together, that would just really make my heart smile.
Very good.
Same. I'm kidding. How ambitious? Like, can I say like a hopeful answer? Like, I envision like an actual community, like working together to achieve the same goals. Like, we are sharing territory, we're sharing everything. So I envision, and what I would like to see in the future, it's like how we can do things together and how we can all get benefit from it. Like, to get this balance between like the economy side, the social part. Like, we are facing a lot of issues, and we have been facing these issues for so many years. In our case, it's like something relatively new. We've been in this work for 10 years, I think, by now. But you know, a lot of more things. But what we brought, I would say, as a youth to this, is like we're trying to get solutions, and we're learning from all the mistakes that have been made before. So with that knowledge, with all the, as Cyrielle was saying, like all this international knowledge, and also to take all the indigenous tradition and knowledge and bring it down and apply it with the new technology, with the new everything, that we can make things better and we can make it work. That's how I envision it, like being that big frame of it.
Fantastic. Now, stay in those shoes. It's 30 to 40 years in the future, and look back and ask the same question you asked us. What you accomplished that vision, let's assume that vision is there, and you both had things about connections, shared cross boundaries, all those sorts of things. That's been attained. What was it that we collectively, you all, changed that allowed us to get there?
I was told not to talk about this, but it feels dishonest to not share what I really think. I really think we're kind of under-resourced, right? So even you just asking that question, I was thinking, am I gonna be at age 40, like still thinking like I might have burned out by then? I don't know. So I personally am only doing this work after my 9 to 5. So for us to really have the push and the acceleration that we need behind this movement, we do need resources. I think also something that I've observed in the youth engagement space and in the youth conservation, climate change kind of circles, something that I think we maybe need to avoid. So something that we need is resources, but maybe something that we need to avoid is tokenism, and also just probably sidestepping a little bit the cult of personality. So yeah, I'll leave Valeria
Okay.
comment.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm thinking. So I would say the thing that is needed to achieve that will be support in all the different aspects. As Cyrielle was saying, like the resources, yeah, like the economic part, but we need like all the support. We know that there's a lot, as I said before, like there's a lot of knowledge in the indigenous communities, in the rural communities, and it can be lost if we don't recover it. So I would say like try to get like support from all the different sectors to achieve the same goal. That's what I would say about that, because yeah, without support you cannot do anything. And it is not, as I said before, it's not just like the money, it's also like the technical support, also the social, like there's emotional support that we need to have. And then actually no one talks about it. Like I think this generation is more conscious about this like mental health, like that we need to take care of us. First of all, like we need to take care of, if we don't take care of us, how are we supposed to take care of the land? How are we supposed to take care of like the rivers that we are protecting? So it's something that I think our generation is bringing here is this situation. And we're facing this stuff, like we're like seeing this like huge depression, like wave from all the different generations. It's like how we can achieve that. And in the conservation word, I think you all know here, it's a really sad word. It's not like people always say like, oh, what you do is really excited. Like, I would like to be like you, like in the field. Yeah, but like, like we are facing like all the issues directly with the land. We are facing like what's going on. So I think this is what we're bringing here. We are facing all the situations and we're trying to find solutions, including these communities, hearing the voices, and also sharing what we have and hearing all the communities' thoughts.
So that's really powerful. Let's build on that a little bit from both of you. In the face of some of these challenges, whether they're resource challenges or the other challenges that you face, where do you go to build your energy back up, to maintain resilience, to keep your passion for what you're doing?
I would say it's probably the same answer for you, nature. Yeah, going in nature. And also I'm someone who is very reverent of my ancestors. So I also get energy from them. They're always looking after me.
So I didn't say anything about my background, but I work with rural communities, especially empowerment of rural communities. So what it takes me back, it's not like planting a tree or restoring a river. It's seeing the changes in the community. Like seeing, like when I started talking about empowerment, I was like, oh yeah, empowerment, just like a word. But it's a really strong word now that you see it in the people, like their reaction. I remember I worked with elder women from the rural communities, and when we started, they were like really shy, like really that they don't want to talk to people because they were like, oh, I don't know, I'm not scientific, I don't know this. And the thing about like being like remembering them, like you are really powerful. You have all this knowledge, all the skills, and you can keep learning. It doesn't matter like how old, like your age, doesn't matter that how young or old, it doesn't matter. So yeah, basically the effect on the community, and also how the community this effect is benefiting, like doing these benefits also for the environment, because they are empowering, but at the same time, they're taking care of their homeland. So basically, I would say seeing them happy.
Excellent. So let's stick with, we've broached the barrier about resources, and I'm glad we did. I think that's an important thing to bring up. Let's stay specific. Tomorrow morning, the Salazar Center's board is going to meet and talk about sort of what our future looks like, where we're going as an organization. If you were in the room, and why aren't you all in the room, by the way? But if you were in the room, tell us what we should do.
I think the term youth needs a little rebrand, a little revamp. When you use the term, it's quite vague, right? Are you talking about small children? Are you talking about teenagers? Are you talking about young professionals? And I think that in not being specific with who you're trying to engage with, who you're trying to get the perspectives of, it kind of maybe dilutes the exercise. So yeah, just being a little bit more intentional, like also having youth being from 18 to 35, I think is you know, I'm approaching that age, and I always wonder, I say, why am I still considered youth? You know, there might be, because there's blockages upriver or up the stream, you know. So I don't know that that's anything to resolve. I think it's fine. We can all create space, but in being more specific about who you are trying to engage with, like what youth, could be a little bit more helpful in you know, achieving outcomes.
Right?
Yeah, I'm agree with you. I would say like we are like, what's the term for that? Like early career? We're not like, we have been working on this, but we don't have like all the experience that you all have. So I'm agree with you in this. And also, yeah, like being more open. Maybe like you have a lot of knowledge on your expertise area, but being open to and like receive all these different, what people's thinking, like solutions. It can be applied to all the work you're doing, and probably someone that, we were talking about this before, like someone that doesn't have like this scientific career or something is not, like we should not just see that part, like we should hear everyone. And if you have the chance to connect with the different sectors, different levels, and hear what they're saying, to create solutions that everyone agree with it. So that's how you can try to find this balance between NGOs, government, indigenous communities. Just try to get to an agreement of everything. I know it's pretty hard to get to an agreement with all the different sectors, but at least we can try.
Absolutely. So a question came in from the audience here that builds on this theme, so let's stay with that. What do you think the biggest misconception about, and this is the word in the question, youth is?
I wouldn't really know because I'm one, I guess. Yeah, I think that.
Are there labels we apply to you that don't fit what?
Yeah, I think in getting more specific about the language, we can kind of maybe avoid those misconceptions, I think. Yeah. Or maybe I think we just need to collaborate more so that we know where everyone's coming from, is maybe the way around that. I wouldn't even, maybe there are no misconceptions. I don't know.
Fair.
I would say youth for, it's different. It depends the sector you are. Because like for us, because we consider like youth from 18 to 35, 36. So I think the misconception is depends who is talking about the youth. And actually if, like what's the application to it? Like youth can be like high schoolers, but also like being the one at the university, the early career they just graduated. So that's like where it depends like who is like behind the youth definition.
I have something to add.
Please.
As well, I think in reflecting on this a little bit more, I had a little bit more time. Like the concept of giving money to youth, like when we were talking about how we're under-resourced and things like that, I think we can kind of go beyond, or like maybe a test to see if it's tokenism or not is if you are able to just delete the program, right? And everything carries on as business as usual, right? So in this, we're seeing rollbacks with funding and DEI, different types of things. It's easy to delete it if it wasn't intentionally kind of woven in. So if a way to make youth or sustain these kind of relationships is if you kind of build it into the program so it cannot be just, oh, okay, we need to, you know, streamline our budget. Bye, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
Good points. Okay, you two get the last word, so you each get a chance to send the symposium attendees on their way with a little inspiration.
Here it is. I will add something. I will start a campaign that says, adopt a youth. You do have the opportunity to receive interns, to receive young people who's in the early career, for example. In Mexico at least, there's a really lack of opportunities for the people who just starting university. It's usually for the ones that are about to finish. So we need to empower, like giving the resources for them since the beginning. Like we as youth need to be on the field, need to know what the government is doing, what the NGOs are doing. So if you have the opportunity, please, like, if someone is interested, if someone probably, it could be a 15-year-old interested in what you're doing, and you don't know, but probably you can change that life. So hear them, try to, yeah, just like, it's not like I would not say training them, but yeah, showing like what you're doing and what they can do. And it's something like also it's like resonating me is we always talk about what we're gonna do when we get old. It's not about what we're gonna do when we get old. It's like something what we can do now that can affect on the future or can benefit us. So yeah, I would say the misconception of youth is everyone is youth.
Very good.
She said it all. But in terms of my personal passions, maybe this is not necessarily related to youth. As land-based mammals, I think we really need to think about the water because it's not a world that we inhabit. So as much as you can spend time by the water, near water, with your youth, with the youth of your community, I think it will kind of be more inspirational. And yeah, water is connecting, so.
Outstanding. My dad used to say, just because we don't know the answer to something doesn't mean someone's not going to find it. Help me thank our panelists for their